Who are you using in your business to do the sales for you? Are you trying to put a sales role and force that upon an admin person? If you are, you're probably setting yourself up for failure. You need to get your offer dialed in. Is it a hard to resist, or is it an irresistible grand slam offer? When you're looking at your audience, you want to make sure that they're on the platform that you're advertising for. So for example, if you're after people in the trade spaces like carpenters, electricians, probably best not to target LinkedIn, probably not hanging out there. Welcome to the Results-Based Marketing Podcast, the podcast for business owners looking to leverage wildly profitable and cutting-edge marketing, lead generation, and lead nurture campaigns in their business. I'm Simon Cryer, the founder of Automate Convert, where we've literally helped clients generate millions, hundreds of millions of dollars using the exact strategies that I'm going to share with you in this podcast. So if you want to automate, convert, and dominate your industry, you're in the right place at the right time. Let's get started. Thanks for being here. I'm going to give you the 3 real reasons why you're not converting prospects, suspects, people who are curious, people who are serious, into paying clients. Number 1 is your offer. You need to get your offer dialed in. Is it a hard to resist, or is it an irresistible grand slam offer? You want to think about some of the components that make a grand slam offer a grand slam offer. I've covered this in previous podcasts, so go check that out. But really, you want to have something that is so compelling and so irresistible that your ideal prospect would feel stupid not taking it up. So it might be a free call, it might be a free download, it might be a webinar, it might be some sort of strategy call, which gives them an immense value. Like if you, for example, we do free strategy sessions, and we used to charge legitimately $5,000 for these strategy sessions. And from time to time, we offer them for free to our database. So that might be something like that. So usually the offer can fail. Like if you're using amazing marketing, but your offer is rubbish, then look, it's like rolling a turd in glitter. At the end of the day, it's still going to be a turd. It might look a little sparkly and a little bit pretty, but at the end of the day, it's going to stink. And if your offer stinks, no one's going to buy it. They're not going to take it up, right? So make sure that's usually the foundation is the offer. Is the offer working or not, right? So it's better to have a great offer and mediocre advertising than it is to have a horrible offer with world-class advertising. If the offer sucks, no one's going to buy it. Despite how compelling you might try and make it work, no one's going to buy an iPhone 3, right? Because that model is obsolete right now. If your offer is obsolete, no one's going to buy from you. Okay, so think about what your offer is and test it, right? How do you know if it's the offer that's not converting or if it's the advertising? Or maybe you might want to test some things out with your advertising. We've talked about targeting before in terms of crafting the offer, making your offer congruent with the ad, like your landing page, for example. If you're using a landing page, needs to be congruent with the copy in the ad. Yeah, it needs to align. You need to have your targeting based on where you're fishing. If you're fishing for buyers, like any principle of fishing, you need to be at the right time, at the right place, with the right bait, targeting the right fish. Now, for example, Lexus was doing a survey on their customers. They were considering radio advertising, but it turns out that most of Lexus's, which is a luxury car model from the US that was serving into Australia, a lot of them listened to opera, right? Weird. But a lot of those people were listening to ABC radio, which is a public broadcasting system which doesn't allow advertising on it, right? So it would be pointless for them to advertise on ABC radio because they can't, right? So radio advertising is out for them as an option. But what they could do is they could give away tickets to the Sydney Opera House for their local Sydney based, or they could do luxury escape packages for people who are interstate as well. That could be something that they could consider that would resonate with their audience in terms of their tastes and flavors. That would be a cool thing to do. For you, when you're looking at your audience, you want to make sure that they're on the platform that you're advertising for. So for example, if you're after people in the trade spaces like carpenters, electricians, mechanics, probably best not to target LinkedIn. They're probably not hanging out there. But on social media, absolutely, they're probably there 6 hours a day, right? Or you might be doing cold email to them, right? So that's where you need to be targeting, right? To make sure you're getting alignment with where your audience is hanging out and spending time, right? So yeah, there's things to think about there. You also want to make sure that you're targeting other specifics like their age demographics or where they live. For example, we're running an offer right now that goes served out to FIFO workers. And we understand that FIFO workers, when they're on the job, they're pretty easy to target because we have on Facebook used a targeting pin strategy, which we have pinned the mining sites of every mine in Australia to target the audiences there that clock in on a daily basis to work, right? So once we've got them, we can engage with them in retargeting when they're back at home and they have a bit of time to have a look at the offer, but that's how we're doing it. So we're just fishing where our fish are hanging out. And so FIFO workers are showing up to work, and that's where we want to target them, right? Because we know they're going to be there. In fact, every Australian mine is only going to, for the most part, have FIFO workers there. So yeah, that's an example of how to target properly and how to advertise properly. You also need to have the compelling stuff as well, the compelling copy that speaks to your audience aspirations, deep fears, the things that they want, or something that would resonate with their pain point or who they secretly blame. Talk to their aspirations and their secret fears as well, or the person that they secretly blame for where they're up to in their life or where their pain is right now, and offer them a solution. So make it easy to do business with, right? So give a real compelling offer that solves a real problem in a way that's an elegant way, that's a very compelling way, that also has a bunch of curiosity. Also add some scarcity and urgency there with your advertising, and look for these components as you're evaluating your advertising as well. Most of the time, it's probably going to come down to the offer itself, but from time to time, if you've got a garbage agency, which is highly likely that you do, or if you're trying to run it yourself in terms of advertising, there's only 80 different ways to bugger this thing up. And so if your ads aren't working, it's not your fault. We have a team of 9 specialists who specialize in very different platforms here, and the goalpost keeps changing all the time on social media in terms of audiences and targeting and what's available and what's not. So if you're not keeping up to speed with all of that, your agency is like it's difficult for one person, even one person in a business as a marketing manager, to keep across of all the shifting changes that happen, right? So you've got to make sure that you're across that and you've got all of the elements that make a highly converting ad, like compelling headline, curiosity, scarcity, urgency, a call to action. For goodness sake, I see businesses out there that have a video and there's no text, and there's no copy, there's no call to action, it's just a video. And it's just a complete cash burn for the business. I see it all the time. Hey, if you're a business owner making between 1 and 5 million a year and you want more consistent qualified leads to grow your business, then why don't we have a complimentary chat? I'm looking to personally invest $26,000 into 7 individual businesses right now who are serious about scaling. Book in a call with me and my team using the link in the show notes below to see if you qualify. Now back to the episode. So yeah, advertising, there's elements that you need to have. And then the third thing where you might be hemorrhaging profits and sales is your sales team or your sales process. So I want to ask you the question, who are you using in your business to do the sales for you? Are you trying to put a sales role and force that upon an admin person? If you are, you're probably setting yourself up for failure, right? And if you are doing that, at least get that person professionally trained from some of the best in the industry, like Jeremy Miner. I'll put a link down here where you can get some of his resources. He's probably, in my opinion, one of the best sales trainers in the world, bar none. I love the psychology and a bunch of stuff. I actually work with some sales training professionals too. If you'd like a hookup with one of my clients who specialize in sales training and who are Australian based, just drop me a note in the comments and I can make an introduction for you as well. Highly, highly trained people who understand sales process, sales psychology, sales strategy. Get your person professional trained if you want them to have professional results, right? And get them trained up on your offer. Do they know your offer inside out? Do they know the risk reversal guarantee? Do they know the scarcity and urgency factor in your offer? Do they know that, hey, by this time, this date, doors are closed? Or they know it's only 20% off for the month of October, for example, right? There's some of the things that I think you should consider in terms of evaluating why you're not converting. It's those 3 things that are going to set you apart from an offer that works or an offer that's not. One thing that I would probably look at is like, you can look at all 3 of them in conjunction with each other. For example, I'll share one story with you that we were looking at ads that were going to a webinar. And it's just like, man, I know the market. There has to be demand here. We've done enough research and we know that this has got to be compelling for people. We were marketing a webinar for people, but we noticed that on the ads were going to a registration page and that we were getting 100 clicks, but we were getting no registrations for the offer. So we thought about, how do we take away that friction? How do we make this compelling for people? We know they're clicking on it, so the click-through rate's pretty high. No one's registering. Why not? Is it the headline? Is it the body copy? Maybe we can take out the whole landing page itself and just make that irrelevant and just give them access immediately to the webinar. So we did that. We took out the part that wasn't converting, just went straight to lead form, meaning that someone would click on the Facebook ad, a lead form would automatically populate their first name, last name, email address, and phone number without them having to type that in. So we call that frictionless. So they would automatically register for the webinar and get taken straight through it. It's a lead that's captured. Our lead cost went from $210 to like $9.95 overnight by that one thing. So yes, it wasn't really the offer, it was about the advertising, and it was just looking at that sales process within the concept of how we're advertising. Where is the hemorrhage? Where are things not converting on our process? So we had the clicks there, but we just weren't getting the registrations. And was it because of the offer? No, because they clicked on the ad, but they just didn't click on the registration. So that was the sticking point. So we used data to analyze where the thing was falling down, and then we tested a few different variants and we got a breakthrough. That's kind of what you need to do in the landscape of digital marketing, is use your numbers to guide your decision making and then course correct. So sometimes it's a tweak, sometimes it's a complete overhaul, sometimes it's just like, hey, let's just rethink this whole offer strategy and what we've got. Hope this has given you some great insights on the 3 areas where most people don't convert. Stay tuned for the next episode. Happy marketing. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to Results-Based Marketing. If today's episode gave you valuable insights into maximizing your marketing efforts, we'd love your support. Please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform. Let's keep the conversation going. Connect with me on socials at Simon Cryer. All the links for me are in the show notes below. And happy marketing. Thank you so much for your attention.